Happy Easter, friends and family. This is just a quick testimonial from a student here on campus. His testimony, his story with Resonate, and really wanted to share with you guys just the beauty. I recommend you turn your volume all the way up. It's pretty quiet, but I hope you enjoy hearing this quick testimony. Hey guys. All right. So, who are you? And tell me about yourself.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Zach Erdmann. I'm from Tigard, Oregon. I go here at Western Oregon University, and I'm a Christian.
Wow. Thank you. So a question following up with your last statement.
Okay.
You are a Christian. What does that mean? Or I guess more importantly, like, when did you first hear the gospel being shared?
I first heard the gospel. It was at our My Town celebration. So Monmouth Independence. For people who don't know what that is, is like a sister town, and every welcome week we have here, there's a big celebration where we all kind of come together. And it's really, really awesome. And Resonate had a booth, so this guy named Kyle, we'll see. So he showed up at a intramural volleyball one day. It was like September 25th or something, and he complimented my hat. And then a couple days later, we had the My Town celebration, and we talked a little bit because he noticed me. He was like, "Hey, I know you, and you're." I was like, "What's your name?" But yeah, we talked about the gospel a little bit. It was cool to hear. Yeah.
Okay. So what is it kind of your background spiritually, or like, have you ever, up until this moment, have you ever prayed, gone to church, heard the gospel, heard about Jesus, or anything like that?
No, I've always been an atheist growing up. I was never really a Christian. I was baptized when I was little, but I wouldn't consider myself a Christian, even though I was little and I got baptized. But I felt like an atheist throughout my entire life.
Okay. Have you ever known anybody that was like a believer or a Christian?
Oh, I know tons of people. I mean, tons of people. I went to my peers in high school. They were all Christians. They kept trying to invite me to a young life group, but I kept saying no. But yeah, I knew tons and tons of people who wanted to share the gospel with me.
Wow. Okay. So I think that leads well into the next question. What was the moment that you decided to give your life to Jesus and say, like, I am a Christian? And share that story.
It was October, and Kyle Murray asked me one day, "Hey, so you've met Josiah before, I think, and Josiah and Lucas Wenzel, and asked, you should go to Bible study at Lucas's house." I was like, okay, sure. So I went to his house, and the moment I became a Christian, it was sitting, JJ was sitting right next to me, Jace. Like his arm, I think he was like putting his arms around my leg.
Aww.
But Lucas asked me, said, "Do you believe that Jesus has a relationship with you and died for you?" And I said yes. Like, I forgot the next question he asked me, but it's like, dude, I think you just became a Christian. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. And like, we were all smiling, just kind of took in the moment. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think in that moment you really understood the weight or the significance behind that?
Not yet, honestly, not yet, because I think when you've just become a Christian, I don't think you really realize at first how amazing a decision it is until you start learning about it. But before you start learning about it, I guess. When you start learning about it, you realize this is one of the best decisions I've ever made, is to become a Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what would you say like your first encounter with God was? Or maybe like why did you decide to go to that Bible study?
My grandfather was religious when I was growing up,
Mm.
and he would try to tell me about the gospel a little bit, but I didn't really listen because I was young. I did not know how to listen when I was younger. After he passed, he passed in August of this year, and I felt Jesus in the moment after he passed, because I knew that he was Christian, and that the night that he passed, absolutely most beautiful sunset.
Wow.
One of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. And I kind of saw that as the way of him entering into heaven, was Jesus letting him into heaven. He was, and I just felt that way because he was one of the most perfect persons I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, never said anything bad about anybody. I'm sure we've all said some bad things about some people.
Yeah.
But never said a bad thing about anybody, and we really bonded in golf. So sometimes on the golf course, I would feel Jesus also with me, kind of guiding me through every shot.
Wow.
But mainly, I feel Jesus through the first time I prayed with you guys, I believe, was when I really felt him in that moment when I just become a Christian. It's like you finally soften your heart enough to let him in your life.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. And to clarify, your grandpa, he passed away more recently, like within...
He passed about 7 months ago.
7 months ago. Okay, so that was this last August.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Sorry for your loss.
Thanks.
But also, heaven's gain. Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about like your initial story. What is your kind of relationship, or kind of how did you perceive Resonate, and how do you perceive it now, having accepted Christ?
I think before, I perceived Resonate as just kind of any normal church that existed. I used to think that church is just full of old people. I would go every Sunday, no young people, and was just like, when I first came into Resonate, my thought completely changed. It was like before, I was nervous about going to church because I didn't know how it was going to be. And because I'd never really been before, kind of took in that before. But when I first got in there, I felt so welcomed by everybody. Just my perspective immediately changed. Just how Ben, our pastor, spoke about, I forget my first kind of service with him, but I remember it was really, really just eye-opening to see. And I just kept going and going ever since, and I've just built so many relationships through Resonate, and here I am now.
Yeah. Wow. What do you think is your favorite part? Like, having come in from the perspective of a non-believer, we have church services, obviously, but that's a lot more of like, okay, that's kind of scary. I don't want to go to church. I don't know what to expect. That's kind of what you were saying. What kind of like softened the idea of going to church? Or what's your favorite part of Resonate Church and their kind of structure?
Definitely the villages. The villages,
yeah.
100%. It's so fun being at the villages. I remember thinking at first, villages, like, it's just going to be about praying, Bible study. Like, it'd be kind of boring. But when I started going to more and more villages, I realized it was a great opportunity just to, like, share the gospel a little bit, but just have good, meaningful conversations with other people.
Wow.
And play some games, have some food, have some pizookie.
Let's go.
And, favorite part about Resonate.
Wow. Next question. What used to be the most important thing in your life?
I would say just lust. I used to chase girls a lot. And I got to the point where it was just really, really unhealthy. And I knew I needed to make a change in my life. But I knew from the start I wanted to focus on college as soon as I got to college, but kind of just lust kind of got in the way.
Yeah.
And it was difficult, but I did realize I had to make a change for the better.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And through the transformation that Jesus has brought, have you seen a change in that? Is there something that's more important now?
Oh my gosh, so many things are so much more important than lust. It's like, I feel like lust has gone away a lot faster than I thought it would. I mean, it's still there, but very, very minimal.
Yeah.
It's like, I focus on Jesus the most.
Wow.
Making sure that him is the number one priority, not me. But having a relationship with Jesus first, and then focus on other things is definitely the most important thing to me, and just kind of obeying and doing the things that I should be doing as a Christian. And just, I feel like I've just changed so much as a person since becoming a Christian. I can't really describe it, but it's cool for, I guess, for me to see and just kind of feel.
Wow. Do you think that changed, like, some of your friends from back home, or that knew you before you became a Christian, maybe your family? Have they seen that change?
I don't really hang out with much people back home, but I know a couple of people that do go to Western, that went to Tigard, where I lived, and they've seen so much change in me that since I became a Christian, how much I've changed as a person since high school. High school. I was a weird kid in high school. I was a really weird kid in high school, and I've just changed. God has just changed me in so many ways.
Has that led to you even sharing the gospel with some of them, or like inviting them to church or village or anything?
I've been thinking about that. I've not had that opportunity yet, but I would consider it.
Wow. All right, this is kind of a left turn, but how did we meet?
Oh God, how did we meet? Oh, it was probably at a village at Lucas and Courtney's house. And
probably.
I can't really remember. I think we were maybe passing the little basketball around, and that little basketball.
Yeah.
And I guess we've just been friends ever since. That's like, we shook hands. You admired my grip strength when I first shook your hands. Like, ooh, that's a good grip strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, so from my perspective, I think I remember you coming for the first time to Village, and you were just kind of in the corner talking to Kyle the entire time, and I was like, okay, like, if he just came to talk to Kyle, that's fine. I'll just talk to other people or interact with other people. But then it was more like, got to get to know you a little bit more. We had the throwing the little basketball thing, and seeing the way that you just like loved Ozzy was really cool. And then I think what really like officially met like was at that Bible study.
Yeah.
And I think that's just such a crazy concept to me, because me growing up in the church, I've kind of always had the perception, if you're going to a Bible study, it's to learn more about Jesus or more about God. So in that frame of mind, a Bible study isn't for the unbeliever, it's for the believer. But in that moment, that was your first Bible study ever in your whole life?
Yes.
And yet, like, God used the first chapter of Luke to like transform your heart, and you said yes to Jesus. And in my mind, as a believer who grew up in the church, I'm like, that's crazy. That's wild. I can't comprehend that God would use the first chapter in Luke, who in my mind, I'm like, I've read that so many times. It's not that like enticing, or like, if I read it, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, God's real. Jesus exists and he died for me. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, that has to be a work of God and a work of the Holy Spirit, and has absolutely nothing to do with like me or Lucas or even Kyle, but has to do with like God and his pursuit of you. And I also remember, maybe this will jog a memory, when you came to Bible study, when I walked in the door, I just asked you like, hey, what brought you to Bible study today? And you mentioned something about that week on Thursday, you had shown up to Village early.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I believe so.
Would you mind sharing that story a little bit?
I think Lucas was talking about it a little bit. Hey man, I think, quote him, maybe. Like, hey man, I feel like you've been definitely coming to Village a bit more than before, and you've been noticed improvements in you. You should try to maybe go to Bible study sometime. I think it would really, kind of change your life.
Wow.
I was like, that sounds awesome. So, and the next morning I got that text. It's like, hey, you should go to Bible study. I was like, all right, sure, I guess. And I went and just gave my heart to Jesus on that kind of during that Bible study.
Wow, praise God. So tomorrow, Easter Sunday. Yesterday, Good Friday. Any other year, what was kind of your perception around Easter, or did you have any kind of perception?
I did not really have any perception around Easter at all. It was, I knew people went to church on Easter and celebrated the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
I really more cared about the Easter Bunny than going to church on Sunday. I never really went. I think I only went to church once on Sunday, but I didn't really listen.
Wow. Okay, now, transformation in Jesus. What are your thoughts?
I'm really, really excited for tomorrow, for that service, and I don't know if I'll cry or not, but it's gonna be a really special day tomorrow. He is risen. He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
And I'm just super, super excited to see how it is tomorrow. Just kind of the outreach for all the people, because we're going to be counting in a giant room. And
wow.
I think just seeing everybody will, it's going to be awesome to see just all the people that came to know Jesus, and just knowing that he is risen is awesome. That's, even though I was not a Christian back then, and I didn't understand when people went to church, I do understand it now.
Wow. No longer to worship the Easter Bunny, right?
Yes.
To worship Jesus. All right. And what's one piece of advice you would give to a believer who's like, maybe they've been going to church, they have a job, they work, they maybe, like give their tithe or support their local church. What's something that you would maybe encourage them or tell them around this season or around the gospel?
I would tell them that just go to, just be around people that are non-believers and just talk about the gospel. Because if my friend Kyle did not do that, I wouldn't be here. I don't know what I'd be doing right now, but it'd be something that's nothing related to this at all. And just take chances. And it sounds scary to like just go up to random people and evangelize, but it can really pay off. And just just be kind to a lot of people. Just because if my friend Kyle was not kind to me, I would probably also just not be.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Final question and wrapping everything up. If you had one piece of advice for a non-believer, someone who doesn't claim to be Christian, maybe they're atheist, maybe they're agnostic, and they're kind of just sitting on the fence, like, I don't know if I should go to church. I don't know if I should go to Village. I don't know if I should talk to my Christian friends about this. What would your advice to that person be?
Say the best thing that you can do is simply let Jesus into your life. And it sounds scary taking that big jump, but for me, I was a big atheist growing up, and I did not believe in Jesus at all. And when I gave my heart to Jesus, just seeing all the things after that, it's truly been the best decision I think I've ever made in my entire life.
Wow.
Just being nervous. I was on the fence as well about going to Village, going to church. And as soon as I said yes to all this, everything changed for the better. I mean, everything changed for the better. And just for that person who could be lost, who don't know what they're gonna do, just say yes. Take that chance. And I believe it's a very, very good decision that you're gonna make to say yes to Jesus.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
And thank you all for watching, and I hope this can be of encouragement to you guys as well.
All right, thank you guys.
In wrapping up, thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. And here's a short clip from our Easter service during worship. You can see all of the people here and the beauty of the gospel and all of these wonderful people joining in worship. Have a great Easter Sunday, and remember, He is risen.